success is one of those things one of those concepts that you have to define outset, because each person you talk to is going to have a different idea of what is success. Today, I thought I would just talk a little bit about success. Not a deep dive or a lengthy treatise or anything like that, but just a few thoughts that I have about success. And success is one of those things one of those concepts that you have to define outset, because each person you talk to is going to have a different idea of what is success. So, of course, it depends on what sphere you're talking about, whether you're talking about work or school or personal or, things like that. So some people might define success solely in terms of wealth or riches. And of course, those two are not the same thing. So that's perhaps a topic for another day. But some might define success financially along those lines. Others might define success as some sort of fame or perhaps even notoriety, especially in today's world of influencers and all that kind of stuff. So some might define success that way. Some might define success as being the top in your field, in your work, or your school, or what have you. So there's a lot of different ideas of what success are, or what success is. And just thinking or speaking for myself, I would have to say that success is related to having a good character. I think you could be the world's richest person, or you could be the world's greatest salesman, or whatever, world's greatest musician or athlete. But if you don't have good character, then you're a crumb bum. And it doesn't matter how famous you are or how rich you are. So I think it's related to, good character. Not necessarily being a good person, because we're all going to make mistakes, but, fundamentally, you do the right thing, you're loyal, and you're trustworthy, and you're honest, and people can rely on you, and you have a good reputation, all those types of things. So, good character, I believe, is one important aspect of success, or one good measure, if so-called, or determinant, perhaps, of success. I believe another aspect of success is having a harmonious home life. So in other words, you have a good relationship with your spouse and with your children. You've raised your children well to be decent people, children that know the difference between right and wrong and choose to do the right and be productive, honest, decent people. I think that's important. So I think that's also a key aspect or component of success. I think also, and it's kind of related to the good character thing, but I also believe that part of success is being true to your own principles. So in other words, you're not wishy-washy, you're not changing your mind all the time, but you know who you are and you stick to that. You don't change or shapeshift like a chameleon depending on who you're with or who you're talking to, that kind of stuff. And so for me, the principles involve, Christian principles. So in other words, it's a very much a faith issue, being true to my faith and being true to the the principles that can be derived from Scripture. Finally, I'll just say that being successful is being able at the end of your life to say that you have left a legacy, a good legacy for your children and your grandchildren. So, and legacy need not be in terms of, financial things, but I'm thinking again more along the lines of non-tangible things like good character and honesty and reputation. And so you've provided as best you can for your children, and you give them that foundation which they grew up in, and then they can pass that on to their children, so the chain continues from one generation to the next. So those are just some of the things that I would consider foundational to my definition of success. So I want to open it up to you. What do you consider to be success? What's your definition of success? And how will you know when you achieve that, if you will achieve that? Or are there certain things that maybe you look back on your life and say, oh man, why did I do that? That was kind of silly. If I were to do it over again, I would do it this way. Or, if you write a letter to if you could write a letter to your 20-year-old self, what would you write? That kind of stuff. So yeah, what's your definition of success? Put it in the comments, and then let's have a discussion about it. It'd be interesting to see what other people would come up with. So I hope this short video gives you something to think about. It provokes you to consider this. I believe it's an important topic. And if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe, share with your friends. Help me to promote this channel and share with others. So that's it for today, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.